lovers, welcome to my channel. My name is KM. Well, in today's episode, I'm going to talk a bit more about my Tyro again, which has crashed again. Well, instead of one arm, now I got two arms broken. You can see the crash, the arms actually break at the hinge, both of them. So the design for this is pretty bad in such a way that it is too secure here, but the arms could not take the stress at this point. Not only that, the ESC I think is gone because one arm came out and it pulled the ESC out. You can see, pulled one pad out, and there was smoke coming out from the motors. I don't know which motor, or it could be the ESC. Well, anyway, I'm going to do a radical change repair on this quad. What I mean by radical, if you are interested to see what this radical change is, do watch on. And at the same time, if you want to watch on, you can also see how I crashed this quad. Okay, this is the last straw for my Tyro. Now 2 arms broke. The motors were too hot, maybe because of the RPM filter setting, so it failed when I was doing a flip. And 2 arms broke. The ESC broke because the whole motor came out and pull out a plug, pull out a whole solder pad. So I'm going to call it a quits for Tyro. I guess just deregister it and salvage the parts. No more Tyro109. I give up. Well, what's so radical about this repair, you may ask? From the parts that I show you here, you already know. It's almost changing everything. Because I have a smoke motor, I had to change all the motors. So what I plan to do is I will be changing all to the Flywoo 230 6.5 motor, 2750 kV. The original Tyro is 1450 kV. And it's a 2206 motor. And instead of using the same Tyro ESC, which is the Eachine ESC and flight controller, I will be using iFlight's Succex-D TwinG mini. Okay, this F7 flight controller is able to connect with the DJI Air unit, but I'm not using the DJI Air unit for this build. I'm using the Caddx Vista. So you can see all the pads are here. There are actually no labels on the pad, so you got to refer to the drawing. And the key thing now in this build, this radical repair, is the Caddx kit. So I'll be using this camera now for this repair. There's nothing wrong with that camera on this quad, but since I'm using the F7, I myself put in the Caddx Vista into this build. So another key thing that I'm planning to put in is the frame. As you can see, I've been flying this quad for so many times, and the most I can fly is 1 or 2 times before it crashed again, and due to none of my fault. And every time it crashed, it will break an arm. Or the worst is for the previous one, I broke 2 arms. One came out completely and one's still hanging here. What I will need to use is the R9 mini. So I need to reuse back this R9 mini receiver, which is still working. But I will be changing the frame to the real ACC frame. So what you see here is basically like a Tyro. The real ACC frame is a one-piece flat frame. Okay, this frame kit comes without any with very rough edges. So they provide me a file to file them. So you can see from here that now the edges are very rounded because I have filed it, and I also put the AC super glue on the edges to protect it. So now it is as nice as a Get RC frame. Well, I'm not going to use this purple one, but I'm going to use back the Tyro orange one, which is exactly the same. You can see it's exactly the same in terms of the design. The height, the screw holes, everything. So it will still be a Tyro, this orange color, and the side plates are the same. Okay, it's the side plates here from the real ACC model. They're exactly the same. Even the slits are the same. They're the same. But for this one, the slits are longer. This is for Tyro, the slits are shorter. Okay, but the size-wise, the screw holes are exactly at the same position. So I'll be using the new one. But I need to transfer the GPS of this Tyro into the new frame. And of course also this permit, which is part of Tyro's registration, I will transfer it over as well. Actually, we don't say that we are transferring it over. Basically, we are keeping this one. We are keeping the aluminium bracket. The rest we will change and we will make a repair. And we are keeping the GPS and also the receiver. Okay, the receiver and the antenna. So these are the parts that we'll be keeping. The rest we will just do a radical repair and change it all. Well, that makes sense because the rest are not working. The frame is broken. The ESC is pulled out by the motor, one of the pads. The flight controller, I believe, is the one that is causing it to crash. Somehow or other, it has been crashing, it has been flipping out, and it's all because of the flight controller that is not doing its job. So I believe with the iFlight F7 flight controller, okay, I would not be having this problem because I've been flying the iFlight with my Nazgul and I never had a crash, even with flips and rolls. Okay, I will get to work, and before it's finished, I'll just show it to you how I connect it and where do I wire all the parts like the GPS and the receiver and the Caddx Vista. And then I will just do a bind on the quad, which actually this is already configured already, but this is not configured to F port. I have to download the F port firmware for the R9 Mini, and I have to bind it with telemetry, of course, because initially this is F4. I couldn't use the telemetry on the R9 Mini because R9 Mini doesn't have the uninverted S port. So this is F4. I have to use the soft serial to configure the telemetry. But with the Succex-D, which is an F7, I'm able to connect directly from the T1 pad to the receiver's S port, and I can invert the serial RX inverted through the CLI. And yeah, all this will be explained later. Okay, so without further ado, let me get to work and I'll show it to you when I'm almost completed. Well, because for some reason there is no 2020 holes here, I have to buy this Lantian RC adapter. So this one will convert the 30.5 to a 2020. Okay, so that means I need to mount this here. Yeah, putting a screw. Okay, I bought 4 screws especially for this purpose. Countersunk screws so that it will be mounted from the bottom. So the batteries, when I put a battery here, it won't be hitting the battery. Which means I need to get a drill and maybe cut away some of the carbon so that this countersunk screw will be able to fit nicely. Okay, the next step will be to generally put things in. As you can see, I put the Tyro's main body onto this frame, and I have the converter at the bottom from 30.5 to 20.20, 20 mm, and then I have the stack followed by a layer of plastic support, which I will be mounting my receiver. And the top stack will be the Caddx Vista and the camera. So I made it in such a way that the Caddx Vista and the camera and the antenna will be mounted to the the fuselage, and then the stack, the receiver will be, and the capacitor will be mounted onto the frame base. So when I do troubleshooting, it's much easier. All I need to do is just remove the 4 screws, and then I can remove the fuselage, and then disconnect the cable from the Caddx Vista to the flight controller. And that's it to remove this fuselage from the main body, which I can troubleshoot the base of it. So even here, I will also mount the antenna, the original Caddx antenna here. See, I will use a cable tie. Okay, now that everything is firm up with this, then I can start the soldering. Okay, doing the masking tape preparation first before soldering. Putting a wall between the solder pads and the components is important. So which direction I solder? From left to right, because I'm a right-hander. Okay, at least with the most difficult part now done, which is the soldering of the motors to the ESC and this thick XT60 wire and the capacitor. So this one, once clear, I think the rest will be quite simple. Well, thanks to the solder bit that just arrived, this one that I ordered, a flat tip one, which is very good because it heats up everything at once and it's easy to solder. And the solder just melts, solder ball just melts onto the solder pad. Well, let's go on to the next stage. Oh, finally I have finished the repair of the Tyro109, and on top of the repair, it has also been upgraded. So what has been upgraded? So you can see the Tyro109 only left the metal shell, the side plate, and the permit and the GPS. Okay, the rest are all new. Okay, the frame is new. This is a one-piece frame. Okay, so it doesn't break easily because the whole frame is now part of the base plate. And of course, this is old. The receiver is also used back. What is new? The So this is a NIN motor from Flywoo. 2306.5 is the kV, and it's 2750 kV, and the size is 2306.5. The props are new. These are the dial foldable props, and we have the Caddx Vista in here. The Caddx Vista, and it is together with the camera. This is the DJI camera, and this is the Caddx Vista antenna. Okay, this antenna has two mounting holes, but the Tyro109 has only one hole. So I put a zip tie through the 2 holes and around the single hole, with the wires coming up back from the back. Also using a 1000 microfarad capacitor, because after raising the whole fuselage, I have enough space here to actually mount the capacitor and allow it to protrude out from the back. This is very important because without a good large capacitor, there will be voltage spikes that might cause the digital system to hang or freeze. Another thing is the flight controller. So the flight controller over here now is no more the Eachine flight controller anymore. This is the iFlight Succex-D TwinG F7. So this is the what you call the ESC, the bottom one, and the top one is the flight controller. And all these are the ports. I mounted the GPS here, and the receiver is mounted at the back, the F port. And there's one area between the flight controller and the ESC that you have to be very aware of, or that I have to be very aware of, is that there is components at the bottom side of the flight controller that may touch your ESC solder pad. So if you don't have enough washers, you might touch and short circuit. And not only that, the power cable that is going from the back also will short. Okay, I designed this in such a way that you only need to remove 6 screws, which is 1, 2, and then 4 screws at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4 to take off the fuselage, and you will separate between the flight system and the VTX system. I'll show it to you when how is it taken out. Okay, first we have to remove the 4 screws here. 2 screws on the top for the GPS. Okay. Let me speed it up here. Okay, with all the 6 screws taken out, all you need to do is just lift up the fuselage. Of course, we need to cut away the cable for the okay, for the power. Okay, and then we just need to remove the plug from the Caddx to the flight controller. The GPS plug has already been removed. You can slot it out, and the whole fuselage can be removed. So that will give a very easy way to maintain and to repair. The receiver is actually mounted below this white color plastic film. So it's pressed against the flight controller. It doesn't matter because I put a heat shrink tube around the whole receiver. As you can see here, whole heat shrink tube, so there's no short circuit or anything, and you can just squeeze it in between the plastic film and the flight controller. Okay, yeah, so it's quite easy to remove. I won't cut away the cable tie. I mean, if I cut away the cable tie, I can just remove the whole fuselage, which is will house the fuselage. Actually house the antenna, the Caddx Vista, and the camera. And then the base plate will house the receiver, the capacitor, the flight controller, the ESC. Okay, so that is a good idea to mount this. This is additional. This is the additional standoff that you have to buy. Okay, it's about 15 millimeters of height that you have to put in so that you raise the fuselage. Okay, and then one good thing is also these screws, which is the M2 screws, are provided by iFlight. There are 2 lengths. I took the longer length because I need this length to also support the Vista when it's mounted. Okay, let me put it back. Okay, I have placed it back, the fuselage. Another excellent design of this frame that I like is that the battery strap can go underneath the base plate. So there is this slot here. Hopefully this slot is strong enough to hold the battery on the crash. So the easier way to place the battery is you just put through the slot, and then you put 2 battery pads here to cover the screws, and you put the battery on top, and this is provided. You just put the battery rubber pad here, and of course the foam on the other side. Then you can pull this side, and you can just tie your battery around the base. So this is ideal. No extra parts to mount the battery. So let me give it a weight, and see how heavy this quad is. Okay, I have a weighing scale. Okay, let's make sure that you can see it. Okay, the weight of the quad is 552 grams. Without the battery, okay, this is a 4S battery, 550 milliamp hour. Okay, without the battery, it's 373 grams. Sorry, I'm blocking it. Yep. Okay. The battery itself is the 4S Funfly Tattoo, and it's a 100C battery, and it weighs 179 grams. So this is a very typical weight for a 4S battery, but if you get the 120C, it might go up to 200 grams. So your total weight for your quad will reach 572 grams at most. Okay, this is a good weight for a freestyle quad, 5-inch freestyle quad. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you like this video, and I hope that you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the button on the top right. And while you're in there, don't forget to also click on the notification bell so that you can receive more of my videos in future. Continue to watch on this flight footage of the Tyro109, which is now upgraded to what I will call it a Tyro5HD. So this name has been changed to Tyro5HD. It is still a Tyro, but it's a 5-inch. So typically, only for Tyro109 99 is 5-inch. The rest are 6-inch and 7-inch. The Tyro119 and Tyro129, they are not 5 inches. So this is basically any of you who owns a 5-inch Tyro, which is 109 and a Tyro 99, you can easily make this upgrade. Okay, and it is worth making because the Tyro's ESC and flight controller is really lousy, and you can actually throw it into the rubbish bin. But with the iFlight, I would say I really enjoy flying it. Okay, thanks for watching again, and bye bye.